Hello and welcome to Brodual. Today we have Ravengate, Riften Underground. Coming from the creator of the Ordinator and the Apocalypse spell package, Ravengate adds an entirely new underground arena to Skyrim. We've seen a few arena mods in the past, but they tend to emulate the Oblivion style by adding a huge Imperial themed stadium. Ravengate is different in that it's more fitting to the politics of Skyrim, especially the underground nature of Riften. The mod offers a story-driven arena, coming with several hours of new content, 12 fully voice-acted NPCs, new items and more. As a fighter, you can take part in the more casual battles to the death, and then once you've proven yourself, you can climb your way up to the Blacklist. The Blacklist features 10 of the most fearsome fighters in Skyrim, each coming with their own personality, backstory and fighting style. Given that this is an illegal arena and activity, the rules are a little less straightforward than you've seen in the Imperial City. Cheap tricks and low blows aren't just tolerated, they're actually encouraged. To get started, you simply need to be at least level 5, although the author recommends the mod for the mid to late game for those intending to complete it. To receive an invitation, you also need to have murdered someone, which is a cruel but necessary requirement for such a highly illegal faction. Once you receive your exclusive invitation, you need to crawl your way through the old Riften and its ruins. Deep inside you'll find the arena, filled with some of its fighters and a bunch of other riffraff and outcasts from its surface. Almost everything is handled through Xanath Landu, who runs the arena and all of its fights. Fights are scheduled between 8 and 11 PM every day, including a mix of your own fights and also random NPCs. So if you aren't interested in fighting, then you can just sit back and enjoy the show. Ravengate is a very open arena. Unlike the one in Oblivion or even something like the faction pit fighter mod, the arena is all part of the main hall. You don't enter a separate scene to begin the fight, you simply just walk down the stairs, step into the starting cell and wait for the announcer to begin. This has some advantages, like adding a great atmosphere to the wider arena as a whole. As you're wandering around or just talking to some of the other NPCs, you can hear the roars of the crowd and the smashing of weapons in the distance. However, since you don't load into an entirely separate cell, it's just not as smooth as it could be. In the arena in Oblivion, the crowd and the fighters don't need to go anywhere. They're spawned right in where they're supposed to be, and that's it. But with Ravengate, NPCs, including the announcer and the other fighter, need to physically move to the fight, which from experience with other similar mods tends to create issues outside of the mod author's control. The openness of the arena also plays a more practical role. This is because the mod encourages a deeper level of interaction between the fighters, especially when you're climbing the Blacklist. As I said earlier, the rules of Ravengate are hazy at best. If a fighter fails to turn up, they lose. Why they don't turn up doesn't matter. If their head was later found on a spike outside of the arena, then that's just considered part of the game. So when your opponent is making their way to their fighting cell, you could theoretically sneak up behind them and deal the finishing blow before the fight even starts. But your opponent could have the same idea, so you need to watch your back the entire time. To challenge the first person on the Blacklist, you need to have at least 3 regular fights. The fighters on the Blacklist are much more unique than your average fighter, both in their appearance, their voice acting and how they handle themselves on the battlefield. They also have their own tricks up their sleeve. Once a Blacklist fight is scheduled, there's a 3-day waiting period. During that time, both combatants should prepare for the battle by speaking to others before the big fight. Maybe someone has information on where your opponent likes to take an evening stroll, so you can have a little talk with them before the day of the fight. So your combat skills aren't the only thing that'll help you in Ravengate. Your speechcraft and stealth abilities will also play a vital role, which is fitting given the arena's location. Climbing your way up the Blacklist will lead to better and more unique rewards, including gold and new items. The champion of the Blacklist will also receive some other more unique benefits that will leave you to discover for yourselves in game. And that's pretty much it for Ravengate. It's definitely an interesting spin on your typical arena mod. I don't think we've ever seen this level of depth in the fighters, especially in terms of their personality and backstory. Each and every time you fight someone on the Blacklist, it definitely feels like you're meeting a whole new character. And not only do you want to know more about them because they seem interesting, but also because you want to break down whatever bit of information you can get to help you in the arena. To try the mod today, you can find everything you need down below. If you'd like more from this mod author, then we'll include our spotlights from his other mods too. Before we wrap things up, we'd also like to thank Rave for sponsoring this episode. Rave is an app for both Android and iOS that lets you seamlessly watch videos with friends at the same time, regardless of where you are in the world. The way it does this is by perfectly synchronizing videos across all of your friends' devices, letting you text and chat at the same time. Whether you're watching a Let's Play together on YouTube or just reacting to funny clips on Reddit, it all syncs up perfectly. To get the app today, you can find a link for your app store down below. And that's everything for today's video. As always, be sure to leave endorsements on any mod you enjoy, and thanks for watching.